Time for Larry's Garden now. Larry ONeil is back. And look at this spread, man. A lot of color here. You're going to be telling us about clay pots, right?
Right. How to make a beautiful garden. Okay, you've got your landscape down to low maintenance. This is where you really should splurge on the potted plants. These are the areas that are easier to work with, keeping the weeds out. But, you got to think outside of the box. Here we have a plant or a pot we could put in the shade. When you have a shade location, you got to make sure you got plants that can grow in the shade. Here we used a beautiful pink hydrangea. This is a great looking plant.
It looks like Easter. It's beautiful.
Oh, I'm telling you, this is going to bloom for, probably about a month. But be prepared to change. But when you're using containers, you got to be careful about your color thing. And you can see pink, pastel is what we're using. So we're taking some of these caladiums right here. You can see how it has that pink overlay in there.
Yeah.
You're going to have to spend some time to really do this successfully. I'm figuring about an hour for each container. Stromanthus, this is a 5-star, a beautiful kind of a sagey green. Going over the leaves, making sure you have a great range in leaf size. What happens as containers or a lot of landscapes is that when the light gets bright, in Florida, it just washes all together. So you're going to have to use a lot of different colors, a lot of different textures. Select your plant theme. Here's another thing, thinking outside the box again, using some of these begonias in here, that's a great color combination. You have Gora, just, mix in a lot of different unusual plants. You're going to have to get your little cart, go to Ace Hardware, put out all of your selections and then thin them down. Making sure you use good quality potting soil and start with new stuff every year.
So this is a science, really. I mean, as far as, and we're talking aesthetics here, right?
Right, aesthetics. Something that you can manage easily.
Okay.
A lot of times people don't want to have like a huge garden to do a lot of labor in, but this can be managed easily, watering once a day.
Now, how much are big pots like this?
They're around $20. So you got in a container like this, probably around $50, and be prepared to change out during the season. This plant may, go south on you, but just put in plants during the season. That will look good.
Now, look, I don't know anything. Well, what's the benefit of having a big pot like that?
Good color, good accent point on the door. Just really inviting.
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. Here's another color combination. This is kind of the cool colors. Here I use a small tree, a Compressus Arizonica called Carolina Sapphire, for unusual texture because I'm using this grass. Here's a beautiful new grass out here called Fireworks, that pinky red. And you can see how paying careful attention to the colors right there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but we have that green matches this green. The stems of this,
it looks gorgeous, yeah.
And the stems of this plant are the same color of that. So we have tie in all these colors together. The beautiful roses, knockout roses. So these are going to be your foundation plant. And maybe this tree gets too big, take it out and change it out. Here's another great idea when you're using potted plants is that here you can put blueberry. You can you can use this as an edible container. You can see how the flowers are there in the pink color, and this is going to be a great combination. Then we have the ageranium as your color points, and our phlox right there. Right, this is going to be full sun, a good amount of fertilizer. Remember, you're going to have to put more fertilizer on potted plants because the water runs right through them. For the cool blue color right here, and the bright colors, we have blue, we have marigolds, we have blackfoot, zinnias. This is a great container. This one is, the whole cost on this one is probably around $20.
That's
great annuals in and out. It's a great way to beautify your porch or your garden.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Larry, thanks so much, man. For more information about gardening, log on to Larry's Garden, larrysgarden.com, or give him a call at Larry's Garden Design Installation at 346-1970. Remember, you can hear Larry on the radio every morning, WOKV, AM 690 and 106.5 FM. Still to come on The Morning.